We took time away from our families, our children, work, everything. And now they're telling us we can't graduate.
Now at 6 o'clock, hundreds of students see their opportunity vanish in the blink of an eye as Stone Academy is preparing to close.
And students fired up over the governor's proposal for higher education. What the governor is saying in response.
Also, a Black Hawk helicopter crashed during a training exercise in Alabama. Everything we know this hour is ahead.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Thursday morning to you. Thanks for choosing the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Looking like a little bit of light in the sky here at 6 o'clock on the dot in the Hartford City Camp. Not the worst thing in the world. We have real spring-like temperatures coming today, but a little rain later on.
Yeah, that rain is going to be a problem possibly, right, Matt?
Well, let's focus on what's out there now. I got outside to get to work, and I just stopped for a second. Spring. It was. It's warm out there. I mean, there is like a breeze. It's like this is not February at all. But yeah, there are spring-like showers in the forecast later on tonight. Here's what you need to know: record-breaking temperatures possible today. Bridgeport. It's not going to happen up in Hartford at Bradley. Sun to clouds to rain, and there's 2 rounds of rain followed by a temperature correction. We'll talk about that. Take a look at these temperatures: 43 in Hartford, 40 in Meriden, but I live on the shoreline. Look at this, 52 in New Haven, 56 in Groton. That is ridiculously warm. I mean, unbelievable. Satellite radar picture is quiet across the board, as you can see. Got a little wind out of the west. Here comes round 1. That arrives later on tonight around the dinner time hours. We'll start the guidance at 1 o'clock. You can see by the 5 o'clock whistle, some showers, maybe a little moderate activity down towards the shoreline. That gets out of the way quickly, but when you wake up tomorrow, there's going to be a secondary round. That one's going to last a little longer. Temperatures, look at this, 45 now, 62 later on this afternoon. Listen, normally you don't win that argument with the kids over whether they should be wearing the jackets to the bus stop. Today, don't even bother. We'll talk about where the numbers are going and what's in store for the weekend. Come on back for that in a few minutes. Let's check the roads right now. Good morning, Lauren Zenzi.
Good morning to you, Matt. Good morning, everyone. I had my jacket. I forgot it at work yesterday, and I went to go outside, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be so cold. And then I went outside, and I said, oh, I didn't need my jacket today. Good morning to you. We do have some emergency road work going on. We did have 2 crashes, one in Farmington. This is on I-84 westbound between exits 38 and 37. The left lane is still closed for that road work. There was some significant guardrail damage. Crews have been working out there for quite some time trying to get this clear. The crash happened at about 3 o'clock. Someone went down an embankment. Luckily, no injuries. In Rocky Hill, emergency road work on I-91 southbound between exits 24 and 23. The left-hand lane is closed for this. This was due to an overturned box truck that happened in the very early morning hours. Hartford drive times, 91, 84, Route 2, all looking great this morning. Down in the Fairfield area, we are seeing some heavier volume on the southbound side of I-95 as we take a live look out there. It's a little early for it. Typically that happens around 6:30, but overall, no complaints, no construction, and no incidents, most importantly. We'll check back in on the roads coming up in the next half hour. Tim and Erica, good morning to you.
Lauren, good morning to you. Great news, thanks. Well, all 3 Stone Academy campuses are officially closed to students after several non-compliance violations were found by the Office of Higher Education.
Fox 61's Brooke Griffin is live on the East Hartford Stone Academy campus with more on how the shutdown happened, especially so quickly, Brooke.
Well, typically here in a couple of hours, these Stone Academy doors would be opening for the classes of the day, but that is not the case since they have closed their doors just weeks away from some of those students graduating with their nursing degree. And now those students are stuck in limbo. They don't have any classes to attend, and they have no way to quickly transfer out to another program. Now, this all started on Tuesday when all 3 campuses, the students there received emails saying that the classes are going to come to an abrupt end yesterday, with the administrative offices closing next Friday. The Office of Higher Education, or known as OHE, says they found 8 non-compliance violations. They also found that the school's graduation rate is to be less than 80%. 20% of the students were not qualified nurses. The school was falsifying clinical experience, and they found faulty records when looking at clinical records and student attendance rates. Now the OHE will evaluate each transcript before letting students transfer and enroll install in other programs to make sure they can provide proper care to the patients.
Those students who have taken classes by an unqualified instructor or who have invalid hours need to be documented into their permanent record so everybody knows exactly where they are. And so if those students decide to transfer out, they've got a clean transcript and everybody knows what's on that program.
And the OHE says this is not the end of the road for these students if they choose to move forward. They say they are going to work with them on a couple of different options. They can get a refund potentially. They could also get placed in another program that they are going to be qualified for. But they say, again, they have to look through every single transcript before they can move on with that process, meaning they have to go through 845 of them. And they say they need their patience as they work through that. Live in East Hartford, Brooke Ruffin, Fox 61. Connecticut's news station.
All right, Brooke, thanks so much. Appreciate that. Well, meantime, happening today, the governor is expected to announce his latest proposal for affordable and workforce housing here in Connecticut. Now, Governor Lamont's office hasn't released details of the proposal. In his State of the State address, he called for an additional $200 million for workforce housing. In that speech, he claimed that it would allow the state to give more financing options for developers, which he says will give more housing options. Today's announcement is set for 11 o'clock this morning in Bridgeport. And also happening today in New Haven, residents are once again going to have the opportunity to give their input regarding the search for new superintendent of New Haven Public Schools. Today's meeting is set for 5:30 this evening at the Barack Obama Magnet School. That's on Farnham Lane. Another meeting is set for tomorrow at 10:15 in the morning at the Parish House on Kimberly Avenue. City officials say it's a chance for residents, mainly parents, to share what they're looking for in a new school superintendent. Nearly 1,000 UConn students and advocates rallied outside the Capitol yesterday. They made the trek from stores down to the Capitol to urge lawmakers to vote down Governor Lamont's proposed budget.
Yeah, the school itself is also saying that the governor's budget is going to leave it nearly $160 million in the hole in just the first of the 2 fiscal years, even more after that. The governor, though, says that is misinformation. So what's the truth? Well, let's get to Fox 61's Lindsay Kane, live outside the Capitol to break down what we know at this point. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, it was certainly a long night for state lawmakers. Yesterday, a public hearing was held on Governor Lamont's proposed budget that had hundreds of people sign up to speak. Many of them were UConn students. Now, that meeting going late last night, and still this morning, students are left with few answers. There were nearly 1,000 protesters of students, alumni, and staff outside the Capitol yesterday, rallying, calling on Governor Lamont for more funding. Now, UConn officials say the governor's proposed plan leaves them about $160 million short. Students loaded up on more than 20 buses from campus and stores heading to the capital city with one goal in mind. They say they wanted the governor to know they care about the future of UConn.
You're not supporting a business, you're not supporting a corporation, you're supporting students, and you are supporting the future of the state. So please keep that in mind, and please stand with us in solidarity on that.
But Governor Lamont says UConn's budget is not being cut. Now, the governor's budget does raise base appropriations for UConn by about $23 million, but overall funding to higher education institutions would still shrink, which UConn says leaves them a big deficit. Now, this decrease is due to temporary pandemic funding expiring. So UConn got money through the American Rescue Plan Act, and that money is no longer there. Now, the Lamont administration says it's attempting to transition funding to a more sustainable place.
I think they got some misinformation. I just want them to know that's not true. We're continuing to make investments in UConn because it's the best investment we can make.
Either way, there's still a gap in funding of the ongoing costs of UConn and what this proposal leaves them. So students say that impact will fall on them, raising tuition around $3,000 a year. Now, I spoke with students and they say they're continuing to advocate for their school and they will continue to do so and fight for UConn. Live in Hartford this morning, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61 News.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. 6:09 right now. And we have some breaking news to tell you about here. China has imposed trade and investment sanctions on U.S. military contractors Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. And this is in response to those companies supplying weapons to Taiwan. Now, the companies were barred from importing goods into China or making new investments in the country. It wasn't clear what impact the penalties might have on Lockheed Martin or Raytheon. The U.S. bars most sales of military-related technology to China. And developing this morning, where a Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter crashed near Huntsville, Alabama. Officials say at least 2 people on board were killed. They say it crashed at about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon during a training flight. The helicopter belongs to the Tennessee National Guard, and say they're not yet sure why it crashed. The manufacturer of the helicopter, Sikorsky, is based in Stratford.
In Torrington, a 70-year-old woman had to be flown to a hospital after a car crashed into a building. This happened yesterday afternoon near the intersection of Peck Road and Route 202 in Torrington. Police said the woman was seriously hurt. We don't know exactly how she's doing this morning. We know Route 202 was closed for a few hours while crews cleaned up the scene.